Mr. Speaker, members of the House, for the last several days, all of us have heard and read the remarks, heard them on the floor and read them in the newspapers, that suggest that we are doing nothing in the House of Delegates in Richmond this session except discussing and debating gun bills and abortion. Well, I can tell you that both of those issues are very vital and important back in my neck of the woods, and my constituents have not been complaining about it. However, today I want to take a few minutes of your time to make it clear that we've been doing a little bit of something besides debating abortion and gun bills. The things that we've been grappling with on the ninth floor and the document we're going to be voting on next Thursday, I suppose, the budget bill for 2012-2014. Since we arrived here 36 days ago, the ninth floor has been full gear moving. We have not wasted any time in evaluating the most important document that we will be voting on. While taking place on the ninth floor, these discussions have involved all 100 members of this body. We spent 3 weeks, along with the other conferees, conducted 17 small group briefings in which members from both sides of the aisle participated in depth and discussed many of the proposals contained in Governor McDonald's proposed budget. The 90-minute briefings we structured by functional area of the budget, allowing for questions and answer after each segment, and followed by a general discussion at the end of the briefing. Because of everyone's busy schedules, we even scheduled and had a make-up session provided for both caucuses. In these sessions, Mr. Speaker, what did we hear? What did we learn? Well, we heard concerns that we should thoroughly examine the policies contained in the governor's budget, starting with a proposal to remove the inflation adjustment for public education. We heard that continuation of aid to localities set forth in House Bill 30 will create a great hardship on our local governments as they search for ways to balance their budgets in light of declining real estate values. We also heard that reductions to the health safety net will negatively impact our most vulnerable citizens, and that adequate funding to our hospitals and nursing homes is not only important for the delivery of quality health care, but also recognizes that our health providers are major employers in much of Virginia, especially in rural Virginia. Now, we also heard that transportation is indeed a core service of state government, and that using general funds for transportation has been done for 25 years. Investments in our transportation system help create and retain jobs that grow our economy. And finally, Mr. Speaker, our economy continues to grow. However, as we heard as late as yesterday from Secretary Brown, and heard it again, some of us this morning over at the governor's office, we are looking at much uncertainty in the economy. And as a result, I believe that all of the members of our committee agree that we need to be very strong in showing our restraint in spending if we are to match our budget to the constraints of our ongoing revenue stream. Leadership, Mr. Speaker, is measured by looking beyond today. I believe the committee's budget amendments that you will see in a few days will meet that test and put forth a common sense roadmap that embraces the bold initiatives and vision of the governor, along with the collective wisdom of an independently elected House of Delegates. Mr. Speaker, over the last several years, this House has made a priority commitment to long-term structural balance to our budget. The budget you will see in a few days will be no different. With the governor's leadership, this budget will include nearly $300 million in the rainy day fund deposits, which will replenish that fund by 2014 up to more than $600 million, which is relative where it was when we used a lot of that money with the economic downturn. To fund the balance, last session, Mr. Speaker, the General Assembly began to phase out the accelerated collection of our retail sales tax. That required nearly 9,000 Virginia retailers to pay July's tax in June. Our recommendations immediately began to phase out, resulting in 80% of the impacted realtors not having to accelerate their sales tax remittance last January. I want to applaud the governor for including in his budget $50 million to continue the phase-out. This action, which will be in our budget, will remove another 1,407 retailers from accelerating the tax collections. With this budget provision and last year's actions, we will be eliminating 95.6% of all the retailers from this required acceleration. Mr. Speaker, I believe it's imperative to ensure that we have adequate cash reserves on hand as we continue to emerge from the worst recession in memory. And to that end, we will set aside a couple of reserve funds. The first is designed to meet any negative impact of federal budget reductions on the Commonwealth over the next several years. And I can tell you that the gentleman from Colonial Heights and I, accompanied by the governor, visited with and met with all of the 3 bond rating agencies. And I can tell you that this is a good step that we're proposing based on the information we received from the bond raters. The second reserve fund will serve 2 purposes. First, as a revenue reserve in the event that the economy does not perform at the levels that we anticipate. If our economy does perform, then these appropriated dollars will be earmarked for a pay raise in the second year of the budget, fiscal year 2014, for state employees, college faculty, and our state-supported constitutional officers and their employees, such as deputy sheriffs, commonwealth's attorneys, and so forth. This coming Sunday, Mr. Speaker, the committee will meet at 1 o'clock to act on the subcommittee reports and recommendations, and we will report out a budget this Sunday afternoon that is going to be structurally balanced. However, like a movie trailer, I'd like to give you a sneak preview of coming attraction. Specifically, our amendments will provide additional funding for both K-12 and our local government so they can keep their local real estate taxes low. We will use one-time savings to fund non-recurring costs such as capital projects, and we're going to minimize the amount of new debt in this budget. We will provide full funding for the Virginia Retirement System contribution rates, which has been on the minds of everybody. We will also reduce the burden on Virginia businesses with fewer and lower fees. We will provide additional support to attract new industry and promote tourism. We will make the largest investment in over a decade to our colleges and universities. In closing, Mr. Speaker, not only did we receive the input from all 100 members of the House, but I believe we are listening to much of what they told us. In keeping with the old adage, the governor proposes, the General Assembly, the legislature disposes. The product that I will submit to this body next Thursday will reflect the bipartisan work of all 22 members of the committee and reflect the thinking, I hope, of most all of the 100 members of this body. All in all, Mr. Speaker, we believe that it's important to do everything within our power to continue to have the reputation of the best state in the country to do business and retain our AAA ratings from all of the 3 rating agencies. Thank you very much.